Hey Kyle here. Today I have the privilege of sitting down and interviewing Jen Robinette, and I am so excited for you guys to get to know Jen. So Jen, how have you been doing?
Well, it's been kind of a crazy wild ride, you know. As we were just talking about, I started off the year normal, like everybody else, was full into some sports photography, um, was almost done with my winter season, and everything came to a screeching halt. And I haven't had any sports work
Mm,
since in middle of February,
okay.
because there wasn't, most of the winter stuff happens in February, but I still probably have about 80 to 100 basketball and volleyball orders that haven't even been picked up yet because the community center hasn't even been open for me to drop them off.
Wow.
So it's been kind of crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
But in other ways, it's been good too.
Yeah.
So the glass
Let's
is always
get
half full for me.
yeah, let's get into that a little bit. So now your business, give us a little backstory on your business. Tell us what your business is and a little bit about yourself as well.
Well, I am a photographer, obviously, but I didn't start out that way. I actually went to college for interior design. I did a degree with Washington State University, and I was there I did 2 years at Clark College and then 2 years at Washington State. And I got my degree in interior design, and I interned for a company the summer before I graduated. And so right after I graduated, I took about a month off to just have some breathing room from the craziness of college, and bought a dog, bought a car, bought a truck actually, and then got a job with a company called Group McKenzie.
Mm,
They're actually still around, but I don't think they're called Group McKenzie anymore. And I worked with them for 6 months, but that was right around 9/11. And
mm,
so I lost my first job within 5 months of working with them. 3 months later, I got another job at another architectural firm downtown. We started off down on Third in Washington, and ended up in the Pearl District above the Henrys.
mm.
And I was there for a year. They were actually doing really, and they started to feel the effects of the economy after 9/11. And so I got laid off yet again. So
Mm.
2 years out of college, not even 2 years of college, I've been through two jobs. And I wanted a minor in photography in college, but the minor wasn't available. So it was either a major or a minor, and I already had picked my major. So I did a little bit of business stuff, and then I just decided, you know what, I'm going to find a job in this. My cousins photographed my wedding, and there were five of my girl cousins up in Spokane, and three of them came and photographed my wedding, and I just always wanted to do it. So I kind of watched them pick their brain and started diving in, and a guy hired me to do sports photography that summer, and I bought the business from him a year and a half later, and I've been doing it ever since. So yeah, a long time doing sports photography. So if you're watching this and you recognize my face, chances are it is from Parks and Rec, Pop Warner, or Fort Vancouver Little League. Those are the ones that
Wow.
I've been to.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's
so
incredible.
I get around town.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they just go from interior design to into photography, and so, man, what's you've been doing this now almost 15 years. So, what's kind of been the greatest joy of doing photography and getting around and taking pictures of athletes and being a part of these just serving these different organizations in this way?
Yeah, the best part is the kids, hands down. I have always been a kid person. I started babysitting when I was 10 years old, and I've worked in the church classes for little kids. And I don't know, I click with little kids. I
Mm.
always tell everybody that I would much rather have a melting down 3-year-old than a grumpy dad who does not want to have his pictures taken. Because I have no problem being a complete idiot in front of children, but older people don't seem to find that as entertaining. so, so I do really well with kids. And I've been going through this photography transition, pivoting like a lot of businesses
Mm.
have, and trying to get my portrait business off the ground. I actually did portraiture many years ago. I had a small studio over by the mall. But I had to pull out of that when my husband and I bought a piece of property to build our house. Like, we couldn't do both. And so what was going to be a year ended up being 4. And
Mm.
but all happens as it's supposed to. So yeah, I I just love working with the kids. And I think that was the draw to the sports thing and what kept me there for so long. And so now that I'm moving through and trying to do more of the portrait side of the business, I've been working with a business coach and trying to come up
Mm,
with what we call our what and our why.
mm,
And so I thought long and hard on it. And just this last week, even kind of decided that, when I was a kid, I had lots of photos of myself, but I only had a handful of beautiful portraits like this. And when I say beautiful portraits, I mean the JCPenney ones
yeah.
where you have a floating head next to
Mm.
you. Those beautiful, beautiful portraits. We all remember and love.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And when I was a little girl, I had my front four teeth pulled out of my mouth. And my mom always had that picture hanging up on her wall. And I never really didn't like it, but I can't say I really loved it.
Mm,
And so I guess I've just always had a passion for kids because I know what it's like to be tall and gangly and uncoordinated and awkward and not fitting into certain groups of people. And I just want kids to feel amazing. I want them to have a good time. I want them to be confident in themselves. And I want to provide pictures, images for them that they can have hanging on their walls that they may get to a point in their life where like, oh, I don't love that. But at some point they will appreciate it.
mm,
And that they can feel like they're just amazing no matter how they look or what their smile looks like or what their hair looks like that day or if it was like crazy ratty or whatever. They can look at these
mm.
pictures like I have of my boys and just know that they're loved and that they're just wonderful and beautifully made no matter what. So that's kind of my mission.
I love it. That's so inspiring, and I love hearing the pivots that you're trying to make in this season too, as we all are. And so I think just to combine those together, one of the things that we've been talking about, and as I've do these interviews, is trying to with a theme. And I think the longer we get into COVID, the longer we navigate some of the circumstances of our culture. One of the things that I've been really looking for, and I want to ask you this is what is the biggest obstacle in your life you've had to overcome?
Actually, the biggest obstacle has been these last 5 years when my boys, I have twin 4.5-year-old boys, they'll be 5 in December. And about a year after they were born, we had a bit of a climb to get to them. But we had them, and I had a year of just amazingness. I mean, people always ask me, twins, how do you do it? But you know what you know, right? And it's all I ever knew. I didn't have singletons. I had stepkids, and they were older when I got married, and so that's all I knew. And even amidst the like crazy midnight feedings and the constantly keeping up with two, it was wonderful. It was a wonderful year. But that next year, my health started to decline. Pretty rapidly, actually. I dropped almost 30 pounds in a year, and I was suffering with ridiculous amounts of stomach pain. And I had been to 7 different doctors, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Finally, I climbed what I call to the tippy top of the mountain when it comes to hospitals and doctors, and I got up to OHSU, and I found a doctor who diagnosed me with something, and we went in for surgery. And it turned out not to be the diagnosis that I thought it was going to be. So 2 weeks post-op, I discovered that I was being diagnosed with something called leiomyosarcoma. It is a soft tissue small muscle cancer. And it's been a long road. But again, I'm a glass half full person. I'm a proverbial optimist, I guess you would say. I've always been that way. I will always be that way. And, I just never really let it get to me. And as much of an obstacle as it was, I just never doubted that there was some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. And, that God had me and that I was going to be okay. And regardless as to what happened, that I knew that things around me were going to be taken care of. And amazingly, I just had my third CT scan yesterday, post-op from my third surgery back in November, and we are clear. Yes. Nothing new. that is just a big sigh of relief. And I do still have a few remaining tumors on my diaphragm and liver, but they're stable and looking good. They actually shrunk last time. So things have been great. So yeah, I would have to say that, I mean, we've all been through stuff in life. Nobody sails through life smooth without any scars or bruises or, things that have, we didn't expect. But as far as an obstacle, yeah, that's definitely been the hardest. But I, just got back from a 2-day photography conference. I got to travel. I've been doing all this stuff this year, just kind of trying to grow and, be a better mom and a better wife and a better business owner and helping other people out, doing things for my community and just getting outside of myself. I think that was probably the biggest thing I learned, that even in all of the pain I was in and all of the answers I didn't have and all of the things that I would have to go through, 3 major surgeries in the course of, 18 months, basically, that, I just, it's okay. I made it through and here I am. And now I'm able to move forward and who knows, I mean, I try to live more in the day because you never know what tomorrow might bring.
How has this journey of the last 5 years shaped you as a person?
Yeah, I'm thankful that I was the person that I was going into this because I know now that I've been through it, I can understand, what people who deal with chronic pain go through. I still deal with shoulder issues regularly. But yeah, I think it's just, what's the words I'm looking for? It's just added to who I already was. And it's given me a greater strength to know that if I can survive that, I can pretty much survive anything. And to not really let myself worry too much. I'm not a worry person. I'm not a worry wart. I've never really been that way. And to just let myself, know that to deal with the fact that, cancer is an ugly thing and who knows what it can do tomorrow. But that's tomorrow, and we're going to live for today. And I'm just going to do the best I can today. And if I get tomorrow, I'm going to do the best I can tomorrow and just be the best I can be and love the people around me and try and, I don't know, be a good part of it. Just do my part, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
do what
Well,
God created me to do, to be here and do what I was meant to be, do what I was meant to do. So.
well, you definitely have that optimist in you. You definitely have an outward focusing service to others. You're an extrovert in the terms of, as I hear you talk about, serving and caring for other people. So, as you think about this journey, who helped you or was super pivotal in that journey over the last 5 years?
Oh my gosh, who hasn't helped me? So many people. I mean, my family is the biggest. They supported me when I couldn't really do a lot for myself. I mean, I went 15 weeks and I couldn't pick up my babies. I couldn't change their diapers. I couldn't get down on the floor and play with them. It was a really tough time. And we were building our home. And so I was living with my dad and stepmom at the time, Roy and Julie. And my stepmom, she cared for those baby boys like they were her own. I mean, she was basically with them every day with me. And I did what I could while I could. And she kind of picked up the slack. And then my mom, she took the boys every weekend for a while so that I could have some healing time in between. I mean, I had 2 surgeries back to back, 9 weeks apart.
Wow.
And the second one was a really difficult healing. And so, she was just there every weekend, taking the boys and keeping them from Friday night to Sunday afternoon so that I could just have some peace and Julie could have some peace. And 2 boys,
Yeah.
I call them my little crazies
Yeah.
for a reason. And so, and then, as far as the business goes, just even the people at Parks and Rec just supporting me in times where, I'd have to be at photo shoots and I'd have my staff there helping me and they were just supportive and understanding. And now, my business coach, her name is Sarah, and, just kind of helping me see, the bigger picture in business. And I've always been a servant, of sorts. Before I even got into photography and was laid off from my job, I had a job with Charles and Lois. and they hired me to go visit seniors and do odd jobs for people. I was kind of what you call a Jill of all trades, right? I did, if there was an odd job, Jen got signed up
Yeah.
for it. And so, but I've always been that way. It's just always been who I am. And so to kind of like be able to think of that in the business world too, you know, how I can help other businesses grow and support them and how I can help in the community. And she's really helped me see that. So they always say it takes a village, right? But
Yeah.
it's not just for children, you know, it takes a village for everyone. You know, you have to have a support system, especially when you go through stuff like that.
Well, and you've modeled that really well. I know for a while there you were doing Gift Card Monday, if I have that correct. So,
So
yeah, yeah,
I'm issues.
yeah, yeah. Tell everyone a little bit about that. Just how you were even through your business. I mean, you've gone on this just incredible journey with battling, for your health and relying on other people, and then COVID hit, and you've got this idea, and you did it, and so help people. Tell people a little bit about what you did with that.
Yeah, so I just, the day that the schools closed, and 3 days later, I found out Parks and Rec wasn't going to have a spring. I had hired my business coach, and there was a community. There's a community of us, and we kind of bounce ideas off of each other. And so I can't claim the gift card Monday idea. It wasn't mine, but this wonderful girl, Annie, who came up with this brilliant idea, and a bunch of us just grabbed it and ran with it. And I just thought, you know what, I had nothing to do. And I was just trying to figure out, I just got stuck in this, like, how am I going to make money? And how am I going to do this for business? How am I going to do this? And I just was like, you know what, I'm not going to worry about me right now. I'm going to do for other people. And so I started doing the gift card Monday. And I just started, the first business I did was Madhouse Coffee.
Mm.
And I had been in there with my sister just a few weeks before COVID hit. And I just love their place. They're based on, Alice in Wonderland, and the girl that runs it with her dad, she's a young girl and super nice. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to hit them up, tell them I love their place. And she was game. So I interviewed her. And then from her, I found out about Leah at Kazoodles.
Mm.
And, gosh, that was fun. I love Kazoodles. I've been in there a million times over the last couple years before Leah even took it over. And so that was when it just snowballed. Every person that I interviewed, I got a new person, a new contact. I mean, a lot of the business owners around this town either know of or, are in community with other business owners. And so I was able to do it. I did it for 9 weeks, and I did quite a few people, and it was really fun. And it was Friday? I think it was a Friday when phase 2 opened, and it was just like, everybody was just like mass trying to figure out the new way of life. And I didn't have anybody that next Monday. And then I started to like pivot to and figure out how I could then move on to help somebody else. And so that's when I moved away from that and moved into doing a fundraiser for photographic fundraiser for Options 360, and raised just about $800 for their organization. And I'm just finishing that up right now. And so, yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm really good at shooting the breeze with people. I'm very much a talker.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
so interviewing people was fun. Yeah. So when I first thought about buying the business years and years and years ago, I'm only 29, so it wasn't that long. Anyway, it was just a huge leap of faith. It was just a huge leap of faith. I mean, I was 26 years old, I think, when I took over the photography business, and I had absolutely no idea what I was getting into, but I just knew that I was good at what I was doing, and I knew that I loved it. And, I just kept believing that, that it was going to go well. And honestly, I think it's going to be even better now. We've been through an insane year. But I've been through insane, and we've really all been through insane. It's uncomfortable and we don't like it. And I'm just as mad about the masks as everybody else is. And there are things that I, don't really like and want to just under my breath about. It's just, we're human. That's the way it is. But I think that this last year, from my healing and just, in my personal life, believing that God was in control. And he's been my whole life, to look back at different things that have happened to me and different things that I've overcome and my family's overcome. And, he's just right there the whole time. I don't have a doubt in my mind about it. But now with this business, and yeah, just having that servant heart, that servant heart that I've always had. And honestly, that I never really ever thought about in business, I mean, and I don't really know why, but it's just, we're all in it to, try and get a paycheck and survive and provide food for our family and have cars to drive and, the luxuries of life that, everybody wants to have. And I still want those things, but going through a crisis like this that's affected the whole world, it's not just our small community.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have a small business, and I know what it's like to have, the worry that there's going to be enough money in the bank next month, and that, the customers are going to keep coming back. And when the whole world shuts down for 3 months and there are no customers at all, it just made sense to put myself out there. I'm not good in front of the camera. That's why I'm a photographer. I like to do the pictures. I don't really like to be part of them. And so, I just believe that God has a greater purpose for me in all of this. There's a reason why I've come through this. Not everybody has the same story when they get diagnosed with cancer. Not everybody gets to heal, fully. And not everybody gets to survive, and it's a nasty, nasty thing. Yeah. But there's a reason. There's a reason that I'm here and I'm doing this. And if it's to make other people's lives a little bit better, if it's to support other people or other businesses so that they can thrive, I'm happy to do that. Because I hope that someday, if my business gets a little bit bigger and I'm ever in that position, that somebody's willing to do that for me. Because if you don't have community, then I mean, what do you have? I mean, when things fall apart and you don't have community, yep, you're on your own and you're floundering, and it's a rough place to be.
We all need each other, and we are. It's cliche, but we are better together. We're stronger when we have each other's backs. We're more impactful, and the stuff we desire to see, the good we desire to do, lasts longer when we lock arms with each other, and we think about each other, because someone may be further up, in a good time, and while we may be down, and we can help each other up, because the vice versa might be true. We might be up and someone might be down, and we can do that for them. And so, Jen, this has been a great interview. This has been so good. I hope people are just encouraged and inspired by your story, by you, and what you hope to do with the business. So if someone wanted to drop a note of encouragement to you, if they wanted to reach out to you, where can they find you on social to do that?
So I have a Facebook page. My Facebook is JLyn Portraits. I also have Instagram, which is at JLyn Portraits. And those are pretty much the only two that I have right now, but I'm getting better at them.
Yeah.
Out of that social media,
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm good at it, but I'm not like, it's not my passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there are any high schoolers out there that want a job doing social media, let me know, because
there we go.
I mean,
there we go. Where is there anywhere else that someone can find you to reach out to you to maybe schedule a photo shoot? Before the
you know what? My business number is on there. You're welcome to call me, talk to me. Yeah, I'm excited to get back into some things. I'm going to be trying some new stuff coming up this fall, into winter. I'm excited. I'm kind of bummed because I'm afraid that we're not going to get Santa this year. But I'm going to try and pivot again, like everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
That's like what is that? That's the word of 2020, pivot, and try and do some things where we can kind of get clever with the whole Santa stuff. But yeah, I just find me, my website is JLynPort.com. It's a work in progress, but it's there. And, but contact me, call me, reach out to me via email. I'm a talker. So, call me. I like to chit chat. I'm always good for a coffee break.
Yeah.
The 2 4-year-olds running around.
Yes.
It's very, very nice.
need that respite. Talk to another adult.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you again for sitting down with me. It was so good, and we will make sure that everything that you shared is linked to in the notes of this, and we'll I'm excited to see what type of response you get. And as always, I just want to encourage people to support local, support Van Wall, use those hashtags. Let's continue to do this, even though as some of the excitement that was initially out there has waned. Businesses need us now more than ever. We are truly better together. And so, Jen, thank you for sitting down
Thank
with
you.
me today.
Yeah, it's been fun being on the other side and being interviewed and being able to tell my story a little bit. It's been cool. So thank you for doing this and continuing the tradition. And hopefully at some point I'll be able to jump back in and maybe start doing some other business interviews as well. Maybe a little Focus Friday. Who knows? We'll
Yeah,
see.
I like it. I like it. There we go.